Hello, this is Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this podcast series is called Aging Like a Guru. Who, me? So last week, let me start. This woman named Tish Knapp, she's here on the island, and that's her real name. She has this almost 40-acre farm, and she's got geese and ducks and llamas and alpacas and a horse and a donkey and some emus. And she has a lot of fun. And my friends, Marge and Fred, you've heard me talk about them, they go over to Tish's a lot. And they love sharing Tish's farm with their friends who come to visit. So Tish's emus, she had got two new emus last year. So they're about almost a year old, two girls. And one of the girls has been picking on the other and kind of really being brutal with her. And so the other, I think her name is Katie, decided to take off. And so Katie got loose in the back 40 of the farm and had been out there for about a week. So Tish was like, asked Marge and Fred if they would come and help herd Katie, the emu, back, find her first of all, and then herd her back to the main area behind the house, separate from the other emu, but back to where she could be taken care of and get fed and the rest of it. And Fred and Marge are in their mid 70s, okay, and Tish is turning 80 like this week. This week she'll be 80, and they invited a lot of people, but the people who showed up was Tish, Marge and Fred in their 70s, me in my late 60s, and a young girl who has been working on the farm and helping Tish for a long time. And but I just thought it was kind of crazy that here's these old people, we are out seeking and herding an emu. And I think of an emu as, it's a small ostrich, which can run really, really, really fast. And it's like, okay, so how's this going to work that these old people are out here kind of attempting to find an emu and then perhaps herd it back to the main fenced area? So as it turned out, Tish has a golf cart that goes out into wherever she wants. So she and Marge used that, and Fred and I walked out and met up with the young girl. Her name, we'll call her Karen, just to protect her anonymity. And she'd been looking for Katie, for the emu, and hadn't found it. And so I kind of went out into the sort of the back quarter, far away, and it turned out that Fred and Karen, the young girl, they came across Katie, the emu, who was just hanging out there. And because she's so tame, she's been around Tish and everybody, she was easily captured, in a sense, easily connected to, and they petted her. And then I showed up, and Marge and Tish showed up, and we were all happy. And we started just walking with Katie, the emu, just slowly. And every once in a while, Katie would just sit down. The emu would just sit down. It's kind of like a donkey who just stops. And so we're dealing with an animal that has a mind of her own. And when she feels stressed, she just sits. And when she doesn't know what to do, she just sat. And so the cool thing in terms of the process here is that we know as older people, we can't run after an emu. We can't push or cajole. We just have to be with this emu where she's at and be patient. And, even when Fred and I were walking out among out the field, out the acreage, we weren't in any hurry. It's like we know the timing of all of this is going to go the way it goes. We don't have to do anything. And where there were potentially 10 to 15 people who were going to be helpful, there were four of us and the young teenager. So at one point we're all together and we're walking Katie, and then she bolted. She took off, and the young teenager, she ran after which it's like, well, that's okay. Hopefully she can catch up with it, but unlikely. And so Fred and I just kind of hung out and waited. And Katie the emu came back towards us. And while that was all happening, Fred said, "Gosh, I wish I had a halter for her. I wish she was halter trained, or I wish I had a rope or something." And I was thinking, well, what do we have? And I had my my down vest on, and I thought, oh, this could be a halter. Very comforting because doesn't have any. It's a down vest. So when Katie the emu came back, I put her head through the arm of my vest, and was able to hold her that way. And that was a way that she felt comfortable because there was no struggle. She wouldn't hurt herself if it was a rope. And we were able to kind of keep her contained while we walked her probably a half mile back to the main gated area, fenced area. So partly for me, it's like, as I mentioned in the previous podcast about, divorce and how we be as aging people, and my limited, all I know is what I know or assume or interpret. And to have the wisdom of these four people who are in their late 60s, might as well say 70s, and Tish, who's 80, and for us to have the courage, not even the courage, but like, yeah, we're going to go do this and walk and be calm and be present and be connected in a way that supported Katie the emu to come back to the main fenced area where she could get treated and get fed and all the rest of it. It was really a wonderful experience. I assumed there would be more, that Katie would be doing more running because I didn't realize how tame she was. And I assumed that those of us who are in our 70s / 80s would be like limited, but our wisdom and our connections and our abilities and our willingness to be patient and slow down, that there's no hurry here, was pretty phenomenal. The wisdom of our inner guru, in a sense, can keep us so much more present to the circumstances without getting into panic, without getting into trauma, without getting into, oh, the problem, she's running away. Oh my God, this is a terrible thing. It's like, okay, she's running away. She'll most likely come back. If not, we'll go find her again and slowly and gently bring her back to where she was. She was stressed because she'd been violated. And the idea of going back in the direction where that could take place again is pretty scary for her. So anyway, the point and the intention of this is, gosh, we're amazing individuals. We're amazing beings inside these aging, decrepit, loss of capacity beings. There's so much extraordinariness. And maybe for some of you going, what's the extraordinariness? You just went out in a field and, ran into it, got the emu. But from my perspective, it's like way out of possibility that people in their 70s, again, I mentioned last time that it's like who I see us to be is limiting, and who I'm learning that we are as beings in who are growing and changing and stepping into the fullness of our capacities. That's what's extraordinary is we keep doing it. And those of us who are courageous enough to be curious enough for what that might look like, we're the ones that are having the most fun. And that's what I want for you. I want you to have fun, regardless of whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s, or 70s, or 80s, or 90s. I want you to have fun. It's one of the gifts my dad gave me, is that, even into his 90s, he was having fun in his life. And that capacity for fun is something that we have to grow, and we have to be willing to step into, not just fun in terms of playing bingo or fun in terms of going out to dinner, but fun in bigger ways. So going out last Sunday and, capturing, herding an emu was really, really fun, and grew my capacity to know myself in that way. So that's pretty much it today. I think you get my gist. Be curious about how life shows up for you, and ways that you can expand yourself into possibility for you in ways that you're extraordinary. I think are extraordinary, and I want that for you. All right. If you want to know more about me, theparadigmshifts.com is the website. You can find me on Facebook. We've got Aging Like a Guru Facebook page, and you can email me at rosie@theparadigmshifts.com. And I've got lots of books on Amazon that might be of interest to you. One of them is called, which one am I going to say? I'll say, because I was going to say, never mind. I will tell you more about that another time. I got lots of books, and you can find them on Amazon.com. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.